Hey guys, it's Will. It's Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. Welcome back to the channel. It's another garden video. It's a little bit windy outside today. I'm hoping I can get through this video without the tripod being blown over or the wind getting so strong that you can't hear me talking. So what am I here to talk about today? I was actually tagged in a video by martial arts film freak. If you don't know who that is, go find him on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description of the video, and he does reviews and videos about martial arts films, as you might expect. And he was tagged by somebody else to do a video of his favorite films from a bunch of different genres. And there's just a list of genres, and what you do is just name your favorite film from each of those, and then you tag other people who you'd be interested in seeing their responses to that question. So I was tagged. So I'm doing this video. I didn't think about it. I tried really hard not to think about it beforehand. I just want to give you my immediate response to that. I wrote down the genres. Obviously, my mind was already working, right? But I wrote down the genres. I'm going to try to give you as close to an honest, immediate response as possible. And I'm going to try to do 2 movies for each category. That might not be possible for all of them because I think animation is one of them, and I don't know if I've ever seen an animated Hong Kong movie. But so I'm going to try to do one non-Hong Kong movie and then one Hong Kong movie for every category. Let me have a sip of my coffee here. Makrinos Plumbing. If you're in Pittsburgh and you need any plumbing done, hit them up. This is not an advertisement. This is I'm friends with my friend's dad runs this company. So it's like her dad and her brothers, they all work together. It's a family business, so hit them up. I think her uncle might work there too. So here we go. The genres. Let's just do this. Let's jump in. Number 1, drama. So I actually did kind of think about this with Hong Kong films already because this seems like my major opportunity to get a Wong Kar-wai film in there. You know I love Wong Kar-wai, so I'm going to do Fallen Angels, which I realize it's kind of not really a drama. It's like this weird kind of existential meta-heroic bloodshed movie, but I'm going to shoehorn it in there and call it a drama. So for non-Hong Kong films, I'm going to pick La Dolce Vita. I don't know if that's really a drama. I kind of think of it as like a black comedy almost. But that's one of my probably 5 favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love that movie. There have definitely been periods in my life where it's like top 2, tied for another movie I'm going to mention on this list. So yeah, I'm just going to throw that in there because it's a way to get it on the list. I don't know if it quite counts, but it kind of counts for me. Horror. As I've said before, I'm not a huge horror fan. My favorite Hong Kong horror movie is probably Black Magic, the Shaw Brothers film. The reason I really love that movie is because it's structured like a classic screwball romantic comedy, but it's about like witch doctors and potions and like evil creepy stuff. So I really enjoy that movie. I like the kind of tongue-in-cheek silliness of it, and I like the imagination of it, the weirdness of it, and also just kind of the way that it's built. I think is really interesting. And then favorite non-Hong Kong horror movie, maybe 28 Days Later. I also really love Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, which I think is like one of the great genre deconstruction / satires of all time. I love that movie. I could talk to you about it all day. Probably the only slasher movie with a shot of a child reading No Exit. Cool. Adventure. I wasn't really even sure, beyond Indiana Jones, I'm like, what are adventure movies? But for Hong Kong, definitely Armor of God, I would say. And for non-Hong Kong, my favorite Indiana Jones movie is the 3rd one, but I really like those World War II, like Guns of the Navarone. I might say Guns of the Navarone is my favorite adventure movie. So let's call it that, and let's move on. Sci-fi. This is a hard one for me because I like a lot of sci-fi movies. My favorite Hong Kong sci-fi movie is maybe 2046, and I know that's kind of cheating. I love that movie to death. It's one of my favorite Hong Kong films, and that and Fallen Angels are my 2 favorite Wong Kar-wai movies. It's not really a sci-fi movie in as much as the science fiction is not. This is a little tricky, but the science fiction is not in the movie. It's in the story within the movie. But large sections of the movie are sci-fi. So it's like, I don't know, does it count? Does it not count? I mean, there's Robotrix, which is like an amazing movie, and hopefully I will be reviewing it soon. I've never seen Robotrix where I could understand the dialogue because I found a copy of it in Hindi that I watched. So I don't know what anyone is saying, but I get what the movie's about. But my favorite non-Hong Kong sci-fi movie is really hard for me because I love sci-fi movies. The one that keeps coming into my mind off the top of my head is RoboCop. The Matrix and Terminator 2. Those are 3 of my all-time favorite movies, but I'm also doing action later on this list. So maybe I'll break those up into different categories. So if you put a gun to my head and say, what's your favorite sci-fi movie? I'd probably pick RoboCop. But now I'm thinking the first Terminator. This is too hard for me. I can't do it. Let's just say RoboCop and let's move on. Westerns. I don't watch a lot of westerns, so I mean the best westerns I've seen in terms of like the ones that I was most blown away by and most impressed with are the Clint Eastwood, Sergio Leone movies. So probably, I mean, the best of those to me is the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I would beyond those, and like whatever John Wayne movies I may have seen as a kid on TV or something like that. I don't watch a lot of westerns. For Hong Kong, I'd have to say Millionaire Express. Not only because it's the only one I can think of. Well, there's Peace Hotel, right? The Italian fat film, but I mean, Millionaire Express is a classic movie, right? It's coming out soon from Eureka. Very excited about that. So let's throw it on there. Lots of awesome fights in that. The Dick Wei, I've said this before, the Dick Wei Yuen Biu fight scene in that movie where they're fighting up the stairs and then out onto that patio or deck or whatever it is just one of my favorite like little fight sections ever in a Hong Kong movie. It's so good. Comic book. Yeah, so this was tough for me because if it were a superhero movie, I wouldn't even have to think about it. It's a 1989 Batman, the Tim Burton one. I saw it movie when I was like 6 years old. I saw it in theaters, and it just like blew my mind. But I love Hellboy, and I love Guillermo del Toro. I really loved that first Hellboy movie. So it would be one of those two. I would probably pick Hellboy, honestly, if I had to, because that movie I watch more now and means more to me now in my life. But all time, the Batman movie is definitely more influential on me. And then I've seen the Wicked City. After I interviewed Arna, he talked a lot about Wicked City. I went and saw the Hong Kong Wicked City, which is based on a novel, though. It's not a manga, so it's not a comic book adaptation. I don't know if I can think of a single Hong Kong comic book adaptation off the top of my head. So let's just move on from there. Animation, yeah. So again, I don't know if I've ever seen an animated Hong Kong film. For non-Hong Kong, there's three that are. It's really hard for me to choose between, and they are Akira, Kiki's Delivery Service, and Totoro. I would probably pick Kiki if push came to shove, and I had to pick one of those movies to like be the one I'm only gonna watch this one, and I'm not gonna watch the rest of them. It'd probably be Kiki. But if you'd asked me that question a few years ago, I probably would have said either Akira or Totoro. But my older son is like obsessed with the Miyazaki movies, and Kiki is the one that I want to just keep watching over and over again. Like I never get sick of it. War. This is really easy for me because my favorite movie ever is a war movie, Apocalypse Now. So there you go for non-Hong Kong. And then for Hong Kong, actually, again, this is really easy. Bullet in the Head because it's one of the best Hong Kong movies ever made. So that was an easy category. Apocalypse Now is just like I can't overstate how mind-blowing that film is to me. Okay, so this next category actually kind of tripped me up a bit. Romance. I mean, with Hong Kong, the obvious thing that you think of is the Wong Kar-wai films, like either Chungking or In the Mood for Love. Because I just watched Chungking Express like twice, and I haven't seen In the Mood for Love for a couple of years, so my thought is Chungking, but I feel like I need to watch them both and then pick. But right now, I'll say Chungking Express. Favorite non-Hong Kong romance movies, probably Shakespeare in Love. But I love screwball rom-coms from like the 30s and 40s. Like I really love Bringing Up Baby and like His Girl Friday and Palm Beach Story and like. But in terms of the one I've seen the most in my life that I watch again and again and again, it'd be Shakespeare in Love. Yeah, definitely. I absolutely love that movie. Controversial statement. So let me have it in the comments for that one. But that's definitely one of my favorite movies. Action. Like, are you kidding me? Come on. It's too hard. Okay, pure action, not counting martial arts. I would say Hard Boiled. If you throw in some martial arts, I would say probably Police Story 2. Police Story has better stunts, I think. The opening with the bus and the pole slide are definitely like the whole mall sequence, just mind-blowing. I think Police Story 2 is a better movie, all in all, if you were to really compare them point to point, at least for my personal taste. Like if I'm going to sit down and watch a Hong Kong action movie and it's like, which one are you watching? It would either be Hard Boiled probably or Police Story 2. So again, non-Hong Kong, it would be, if I said RoboCop for Sci-Fi, I'm going to say Terminator 2. In terms of the movie that has had the biggest influence on me throughout my entire life. I saw the movie when I was a kid. I still love that movie. I got into so many. I mean, I saw the first Terminator because I saw the second one, and like so many other things I got into because I loved that movie. But The Matrix was a huge, huge influence on me too. That movie came out when I was 16, and I just loved it, and it blew me away. And I saw it so many times, and it really opened my mind to, like, Crouching Tiger came out not that long after that, and because I had seen The Matrix and loved it, I was like, oh, I got to see this other movie. Like, it's been compared to it, and like, so a lot of things that I sought out and was interested in, began with The Matrix, I guess you could say, but the same is really true of Terminator 2. So that's a tough one for me. But if I had to pick, I would pick probably Terminator 2. And then Thriller. So Thriller's tough for me too because I love thrillers, and it's probably my most watched genre, definitely for Hong Kong movies. I mean, I want to say A Better Tomorrow, but then there's The Killer, and then there's all the Johnny Toe stuff like Election 2, Infernal Affairs. I would say A Better Tomorrow, I guess, if I had to. And then my favorite non Hong Kong thriller. This is tough because, like I said, I watch a lot of thrillers. I really love Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal, but I don't, Hugh Grant and there's like 1,000 people in that movie. Terrence Howard. But what do I favorite thriller? This is tough. Oh, actually, I mean, if you start going back in time, yeah, then you get stuff like Treasure of Sierra Madre or Maltese Falcon, which are incredible films. Okay, so I'm gonna say something I haven't even mentioned out loud yet. I'll say Godfather 2. Godfather and Godfather 2 are both basically perfect movies, but Godfather has that kind of esoteric thing where you have to trace Michael's character evolution because the movie is kind of impressionistic. And it's interesting because when I rewatched it recently, and that kind of dawned on me, and then I saw this interview with Al Pacino where he's talking about how it's kind of enigmatic playing that character because you don't see his transformation, you just see that he has transformed. And I don't know, I like the nuts and bolts kind of aspect of Godfather 2, where you're just every single scene you're there as it's happening. But they're both absolutely incredible films. I also really love Kurosawa's thrillers: Stray Dog, Bad Sleep Well, High and Low, Quiet Duel, Drunken Angel, like all those types of films. But gun to my head, I have to pick two. I'd probably pick A Better Tomorrow and Godfather 2. So there's one genre left. The genre is comedy. And this is a big one. I watch a lot of comedies. I like a lot of comedy. What is my favorite comedy? I mean, for Hong Kong, it would either probably be Wheels on Meals or Winners and Sinners. I just watched Winners and Sinners, and I loved it, and I laughed so much. Wheels on Meals, I probably, historically over my life, again, have liked more. It's very hard. I might pick Wheels on Meals if I had to. But I love those movies both, and they're both so charming. And then non-Hong Kong comedy. Again, I love those old comedies, like Arsenic and Old Lace is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I might pick what I think is the funniest movie of all time, Duck Soup, Marx Brothers, which is the one where they accidentally start a war, which is obviously like a satire of I think World War One and stupidity of what was going on as in the lead up to World War Two. I think that movie is just incredible and hysterical. And I mean, it's basically like, Doctor Strangelove is this movie where they accidentally bring about nuclear apocalypse through miscommunication. And that's exactly what Duck Soup is about. It's like a very influential film because everyone points to Doctor Strangelove as how influential of a comedy it was and on shaping people's perspectives of how comedy could work and the way that the world was satirized and stuff like that. And I think that movie owes a lot to Duck Soup. But I mean, Trainspotting is one of my all-time favorite movies, and that's kind of a comedy. If you could call that a comedy. Like Inglourious Basterds is one of my all-time favorite movies, also kind of a comedy, war comedy, if you want to call it that. Anyway, so there you go. And then I get to throw in a wild card genre, just for fun. That's like one of the things of this game. I get to pick one. I'm going to pick coming of age because I love coming of age movies. And I'm going to go with Y Tu Mamá También for non-Hong Kong films. I also really love Blue is the Warmest Color. I love Breakfast Club. I love Perks of Being a Wallflower. 400 Blows is one of my favorite movies of all time. But in terms of really honing in on like that experience of coming of age and capturing those raw feelings and emotions and stuff, and if I had to pick one, I would pick Y Tu Mamá Tambien. And then I just recently learned about this genre of films in Hong Kong called, I believe, Ah Fong or Ah Feng, Ah Fong, which was the Hong Kong name title for Rebel Without a Cause, which is this genre of films about like wayward youth, basically. And a lot of the early Wong Kar-wai films fit into that genre. So it would be easy for me to pick like As Tears Go By. But if I'm gonna pick something that's not the same names I've been saying over and over again with Wong Kar-wai and John Woo and stuff, I might pick On the Wrong Track, which is an Andy Lau movie from 1983, which I watched recently and really, really loved and was like really impressed by. So hopefully I'll have a review of that up on the channel. I recorded it like over a month ago, but I've had so many videos coming up that have to go out that they just keep getting in the way. Anyway, my name is Will. It's Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. This is just for fun. Martial Arts Film Freak tagged me in this challenge, and so I'm doing it. I thank you for watching. We will see you next time.